Let us chant 17th chapter. The first 10 slokas we will chant. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Arjuna Vacha Ye Shastra Vidimutsurya Yajante Sraddhatraya-Vibhaga Tesham Nishtatu Ka Krishna Sattvam Rajastamaha. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja Sattwiki Rajasic Tamasic Chetitam Shunu Sattvanurupa Sarvasya Shraddha Bhavati Bharata Shraddha Mayoyam Purusho Yo Yat Shraddha Saiva Saha Yajante Sattwika Devan Yaksharaksham Rajasaha Pretan Bhutaganam Janye Yajante Tamasajanaha Ashastra Vihitam Ghoram Tapyante Tapojanaha Tambhahankara Sanyuktaha Kamaragabalanvitaha Karshayantah Sharirastam Bhutagramam Achesasaha Mam Chevantah Sharirastam Tam Vidhyasuranischayan Aharastvapi sarvasya Trivido Bhavati Vyaha Yajnastapastatha dhanam Tesham vedamimam shunu Ayuh sattva balarogya Sukha priti vivardhanaha Rasya smita stira hridya Hara satvika priyaha Katvam lalavanat yushna Tikshna roksha vidahinaha Ahara rajasasyeshta Dukkha shoka maya pradaha Yatayamam gatarasam Puti pariyushitam jayat Uchishtam cha medyam Bhojanam tamasapriyam. So from today we are going to study the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It is called Sraddhatraya-Vibhaga Yoga. Every chapter, as you know, of the Gita is called Yoga. Why? Because every chapter shows us a way to realize God, to become united with God. Yoga means uniting with God. So, in this particular chapter, it is called Sraddhatraya. There are 3 types of Shraddha, not Shraddha. Shraddha, be careful about it. Shraddha means funeral ceremony. If you understand, it's fine. If you don't understand, it will become Shraddha. So, it is very important to understand, but let me first give a little bit of the background. We have discussed in the earlier chapters, especially 15th chapter, which is called Purushottama Yoga. What did we discuss? The whole universe comes from God. And therefore, if it comes from God, then where does it go? It has to go back again to God. This is an invariable law. Whichever object comes from whichever constituent material, in the end it has to return back to that material. So the earth returns back to earth. Dust unto dust. Have you heard this expression in English?
Yeah.
We are all made up of dust only. So since we have come from dust, we return back to dust. Water returns back to water. Air returns back to air. Fire returns back to fire. Space returns back to space. So, if we are other than divine, other than God, then we will go back to non-godly state. But if we are coming from God, then we can never go back to anywhere else except into God only. That is why we started our journey from God. We continue our journey in God, and ultimately we also return to God. That was the essence of the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Purushottama Yoga means what? We have all come from Purushottama, we live in Purushottama, and we again go back to Purushottama. That is what Swami Vivekananda said. Each soul is potentially divine. Now, goal is all right, but we have to continue the travel. The life is a journey. From birth to death, it is a journey. Journey to where? Journey to going back to God. So, if we have to continue our journey, then there must be a vehicle in which we have to sit. What is the vehicle by which we continue our journey? There are two instruments. What are those instruments? Body and mind. These both are called chariots. Or you can say the body is the chariot, the mind is the driver, buddhi is the GPS. Buddhi is the GPS. What is the meaning of GPS? Guru Parampara system. Buddhi should be following Guru Parampara system, not the stupid GPS. Then, who is the traveler? The Atman is the traveler. So, what is the travel for? It is the travel for knowing that we are not to travel anywhere, we are already where we wanted to be. Only we do not know. We are already where we wanted to be. Suppose you went to bed in London, you had a dream. In the dream, you have gone to Delhi. And in the Delhi also, you are telling, I have come on some work. I have to return back to London. Then you wake up. And then where do you find yourself? In London only. So a travel is necessary. Funnily, one man, at midnight, he ran out half a mile to his neighbor, knocked at the door, and then the neighbor came out. Why did you come at night? Oh, I have lost my specs. He was a high myopic fellow. He can't even see 1 centimeter without specs. So the neighbor asked, how did you run this half a mile without specs on? You have your specs right on your own. Otherwise you could not have taken 1 step forward. So stupid fellow, why did you unnecessarily disturb me? Now the question is, was that running necessary? It is necessary that all that running was necessary to know that all that running was completely unnecessary. So if he had known that the specs was on him, he would not have run. But he did not know that. He thought they were not there. We are like that people. So we are searching for our own self with what instrument?
Body.
With consciousness. Body will not work. It is the consciousness is the instrument by which we are searching for consciousness. It is consciousness thinking that it is not conscious, and then searching for itself. Ultimately, I am the one for whom I am searching whole life. But that knowledge hasn't come now. It will come now. This is the goal, to know that we are God, we are the divine. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are all going towards it. Now, as I said, instruments are necessary. What are those instruments? Both body and mind. And these instruments must be proper instruments. If the tires are punctured, or if the wheel is loose, if the driver is drunk, then where will the journey end? So in the 16th chapter, certain qualifications called Daivi Sampad, that is for the making the instrument very pure. Now what do we mean by making instruments ready? There are three types of readiness. The lowest type of readiness, middle type of readiness, and highest type of readiness. These are the well-known three gunas called Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. If the body and mind are more endowed with Tamas, then the gadis are very loose. Gadi means instruments are very loose. If they are endowed with Rajas, then the instruments are slightly better. But first class, you get MOT certificate. MOT certificate. That is called the state of Sattva. So whatever we do, whether we eat, whether we sleep, whether we pray, whether we read books, whether we meditate on God, whether we do puja, whether we do dana, all these things make us different from each other. Every person's eating, sleeping, activities differ from one to the next. What is it that makes a person, one person different from the other person? Do you know what is that? What makes? It is these gunas which make a person different from the other person. You can always see. So Sri Ramakrishna gives an example. When a farmer goes to buy a bullock, what does he do? How does he know the bullock is good or bad? He touches the tail. And then if it is just lying, just to look, some do not even look. They are called Tamasic bullocks. Some, a little movement is there, then they look like this. They are a little bit Rajasic. Some immediately jump up and then about to gore the other fellow. They are called Sattvic bullocks. Now don't make any mistake. A Sattvic bullock is not one which sits and meditates. A Sattvic bullock is one which is at its very height of energy and intelligence. So even animals, a Sattvic dog and a Rajasic dog and a Tamasic dog. So any animal, any human being, you can distinguish. How do you distinguish? By their qualities. Some dogs. You want to buy a dog. It's what purpose you want to buy a dog? You want to buy a car. For what purpose do you want to buy a car? If you want just basic, then the lowest cost. Tamasic. So what is that? That two persons can sit, like a glorified auto rickshaw or nano car. If you want a little decent car, then you go for Mercedes or BMW or. If you want to be at the top range, then F1 formula car. Yeah, the difference, the power. Similarly, human beings also, how do we judge? One company wanted to hire people for the jobs. So all of the company executive hired only married fellows, married men. Then the local women's committee took umbrage at that and went and then met the CEO and started protesting. You are having gender discrimination. Why did you not take women? The CEO said, give me 5 minutes, I will explain to you. After that, if you want to protest, you protest. We want people who are very fruitful, very, productive. We want people who will not open their mouths even if I shout. We want people who will do their job from morning 4 o'clock until 12 o'clock at night. We want people, even if we don't feed, even if we abuse, even if they will not open their mouth. So I took all married people because that is what is their condition. So you see, what is the difference between one person and the other person? How do we judge? We judge people. How do we judge? By gunas, qualities. So any type of job, even cooking, there is a Sattvika cooking, there is a Rajasika cooking, and also there is a Tamasika cooking is there. So whatever be the activity, we can judge a person by the qualities. Now what is the purpose of enumerating these qualities? So that we can recognize who is the lowest type of fellow. So we are talking about journey. Journey consists of what? Is it geographical progress? In life, when we call progress, what do we mean by progress? Is it a geographical progress or is it a guna progress? Guna progress. From tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva, always. So Sri Krishna also gives, there are Sattvika devotees, there are Rajasika devotees, there are Tamasika devotees. Do you remember? Gospel of Sri Krishna?
Yes.
So a Tamasika devotee, tremendous faith he has. So he is like Tamasika, kill, burgle and loot, shout. So that is to say, a man like Girish Chandra Ghosh, tremendous faith. Rajasika devotee, his shrine room will be full of lights and he will have a japamala. In between there will be golden or diamond beads will be there. And he will have a shawl specially made in Varanasi. And everybody will be looking at the shawl. If he moves, it will reflect 100 times the light. And all those things will be there. What about a Sattvika devotee? Perhaps his house is dilapidated, perhaps pigeons are dropping, perhaps his mosquito curtain is torn, he will be lying inside the mosquito curtain, but whole night what is he doing? He will be doing japam. So from outside people cannot judge, they think that he did not sleep all night, but whole night he was up and doing things. So in the 17th chapter, clearly he enumerates three types of what is called these guna, sattva, rajas and tamas, and how they impact our day-to-day life. So how a person, what type of god or gods he worships, what type of puja he does, for what motive he does, for what type of food he takes, what type of philanthropy he does. These main activities have been so clearly enumerated here. Now at the end of the 16th chapter, Arjuna raises one question. he asks Sri Krishna. Now, all these qualities, divine treasure qualities, we come to know from where? From the scriptures. But there are people who do not have access to scriptures, or who do not understand what is the meaning of the scriptural words, or they may not have so much of opportunity to hear about them, but they may have faith in God. There are millions of people, such people, who have faith in God. They worship God. But is it correct? Or is there something wrong with it? How do we understand? So this was the question Arjuna had put to Sri Krishna. And this is the answer he gives here. So let us start with the first one. Arjuna asks, Ye Shastravidim Utsrujya. He who, giving up the study of the scriptures, guidance of the scriptures, Yajante Shraddhaya Anvitaha, endowed with Shraddha, a person goes on worshipping God. Tesham Nishtatuka, Hey Krishna, what type of devotion or Shraddha they are? Sattvam, Aho, Rajas, Tamaha. Is it Sattva? Is it Raja? Rajas? Is it Tamas? What is it? What type of category that person? There is no straightforward answer. The answer depends upon his activities. Like, suppose some 3 students have been enrolled in a first class college. The college is a private college, and they all provide first class rooms, facilities for study. And 3 of these students are living in one room. So, what type of students they are going to become? If you are asked that question, can you give a straightforward answer? You can never give, because facilities are provided. But what the 3 students will do with their facilities, that depends upon their nature. Some study very diligently, some study half. The other fellows will be what is called taking somehow they bring some magazines and listening to MP3 songs and all those things. Even though there are inspectors to do all that, some will just somehow bring inside some undesirable pictures and other things and keeping there. All sorts you will get. In the same way, how do we judge 3 persons are doing worship? They all put namas and they are all worshipping. What type of people are they? Can you tell what type of people? Seeing outside? You don't know. Like Thakur used to say, there's one goldsmith shop was there. Keshava, Keshava. It's Gopala, Gopala. Then it's Hara, Hara, Hari, Hari. People thought they were all great devotees of God. It is like that. Most people are like that. So the Lord is answering. What is his answer? Trividha bhavati shraddha. Shraddha means, we'll come to that point. It's a very important point. Trividha bhavati shraddha. A person's shraddha can be of one of the 3. Dehinam sa swabhavaja. Dehina means a person's. Swabhavaja. It is his nature at this moment. It could be Sattvika, it could be Rajasika, or it could be Tamasika. So I will explain to you. He says, I will explain. Now what is Shraddha? The next verse is very important. Sattvanurupa sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata Shraddha mayo yam purusho yo yat Shraddha sayeva saha. Every person is an embodiment of Shraddha. I will come to the explanation. Every person is an embodiment of Shraddha. And a person is what his Shraddha consists of. And the Shraddha is of 3 types. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Now, what is the meaning of Shraddha here? The usual meaning of Shraddha is what a person believes in afterlife. A person's belief in God, belief in afterlife, belief in afterworld. 3. Belief in God, belief in afterworld, belief in afterlife. Let me explain what it is. Belief in God, whether God exists, God doesn't exist. That is one type. We don't know because only scripture can tell us. You can never get the answer whether God is there or not. If you read Sri Krishna or any scripture, he tells God exists. If he tells God exists, it is up to you to believe or not to believe. The second, that if you believe there is a God, there must be also an afterworld. That means paraloka. Paraloka means it could be Swargaloka or it could be Narakaloka. Then, if there is a Swargaloka, there must be life, some people living there. If there is a Loka, there must be some people. Loka thakle lok thakbe. Lok na thakle loka ki kore hobe. So if there is a person, then it is a world. If there is a world, there must be a person. If nobody is there, how does anybody know there is a world? It is impossible. So there must, if there is another world, and there must be also a life there. This information, where from are we getting? Only from scriptures. Sri Ramakrishna is nothing but a scripture. A scripture is nothing but a person who knows. Okay. Now that is the to believe or not to believe, or how much to believe, that depends upon each person. Even though scripture is telling the same thing, some people say, no, I don't believe. Some people say, maybe, may not be. Some people say, 50% I believe. Some people believe 100%. So, there are so many people who don't believe. That is why they say, after death, there is nothing is there. These are called charvakas. Charvakas means what? Credit card holders. Credit card holders. It is redam kritva ghritam pibe. Take loan and enjoy it. This is afterwards it is bank's headache. Where from they are going to get the money? That is why the whole economy has gone down because of this stupid policy. Anyway, what is it? Some people say, I don't know. Some people believe 50-50. Example of 50-50? Nachiketa's father. He was supposed to give away everything. Because if he is going to Swargaloka, what is he going to do with this? Do you follow? Nachiketa's father wanted to go to heaven. What was the condition? He should donate everything he has. But he was not willing. All good cows he kept, all the rotten cows he wanted to give. Now if he really believed, if he is going to Swargaloka, is he going to carry his cows with him? Is he going to carry his house with him? Is he going to carry his body with him? How can you go to Swargaloka? A pig says, I want to go to Swargaloka. Pig. God says, okay, come. But I want my sty also, pig sty also. Because there also my Swarga is only pig sty. Then why do you want to go there? Why don't you keep your pig sty here? So you cannot enter into Swargaloka with this type of body and mind. You will get a separate type of both body and mind, because to be able to enjoy. Do you follow what I am talking about? Supposing, I will give 2 examples. Supposing you want to attend a first class classical concert. Suppose you don't know anything about classical music and you like only this rock music. So if somebody gives free tickets also, will you enjoy that?
No.
So that is one example. Suppose you get to free invitation because some friend is there for an artistic exhibition, art exhibition. So suppose you can go there. Nobody can prevent you. But what do you look at? One rich woman went to an art exhibition. Everything is artistic only. So it is also for sale. So she showed one object to the attendant, said, I want to buy this. How much does it cost? He said, sorry madam, that is the door knob. She didn't have the common sense to distinguish what is a door knob and what is an artistic object. Do you follow what I am talking? If you want to enjoy art, you must be having an artistic mind. If you want to enjoy classical music, your mind should be knowing at least something of classical music and also enjoy that one. So if you want to go to heaven, then your mind also should be of that type. Otherwise, how do you enjoy? Yeah. So there are persons 50-50 believe. They say they want to go, but they want to go with their old pigsty. That is not possible. And that is what most of our devotees are in that condition. They are so much attached. What are they going to do after death? Are they going to carry their bank balance and their cars, their houses? Does anything go with them? And yet they are clinging so much. Think over it. So there are people 100% fail. Anyway, what are we talking about? A person behaves not according to what he reads, not according to what he talks, but according to his inner belief. Do you follow what I am talking about? I may give first class lecture, but my behavior will be not according to my lecture, but according to my one fellow, Harikatha man, Harikatha man, Hari is talking. The whole night he will sing about Hari. So one night he was in South India, Harikatha people are very popular. And so he is very popular man. So he was taking Harikatha. Unfortunately his wife also sat down. So by the way, topic has come about onions and roshan, garlic. So Puranas, they proscribe, they forbid. So this fellow had given a terrible lecture for 1 hour, how bad it is. So his wife said, horrified, every day I am giving him sambar for my husband. What a sin I am committing. Next day she stopped. And this fellow cannot stay without eating onion and garlic. So he asked, why did you not put all the onion? He said, yes, I did not know all these years. Only yesterday after hearing your lecture, Harikatha, I came to know how sinful it is. This fellow took a stick and said, if you any time in future you attend my Harikatha program, I am going to break your head. It is all for lecture, for other people. One's own behavior, it shows a person is devoted to God, believes in afterlife, in all those things. A person who is clinging to these worldly objects, can you say that he really believes in God? It is not possible. So what is Shraddha now? A person's inner belief. How do we know what a person's Shraddha is? By the way he behaves. How do we know? Here becomes a very beautiful description of if a person's inner belief betrays what type of God he worships, what type of way he worships, what type of motivation he has, what type of food he eats, what type of charity he makes, what type of pilgrimage he makes, etc., etc. Important indications are given here. We are going to study. So the first point here, this is the law. Each one of us are what our inner belief is. Not what we profess, but what we practice. Our practice and our belief cannot go together. Now this is a very important law. Let us try to understand the connection between belief and activity. Let me first give an illustration. Suppose you believe that there is a time bomb ticking under your seat. There is a time bomb ticking under the seat where you are sitting. You believe it. Suppose you believe it. Would you be sitting very calm and quietly, or would you be running away? Running away. Suppose there is a time bomb. Really it is ticking. But you do not think there is any time bomb. Then what will you be running here or sitting? Sitting calm and quietly. Now see, what is Thakur telling? What is this time bomb? What am I talking about? What is this time bomb? Jeev Saj Shamare. Thakur says, any time death can come. Is it not a fact? Are we ignorant of this fact? And we know it, yet we don't believe it. So knowing and believing are two separate things. Let me dwell on this for a few seconds before going back. Knowing and belief are two separate things. In this case, knowing is information and belief is something which is our inner life. So what is, we know that we have to be very generous. We know we have to be charitable. Why? Because our scriptures tell us that if we are charitable, if we are philanthropic, if we serve other people, is it a loss or is it an investment?
It's investment.
What do the scriptures say? You see, if we do good karma, who enjoys the result? And if we do bad karma also, who enjoys the result? This we know, law of karma. So if we do something good, charity is one of those things, then who gets the benefit? Does God get the benefit or do we get the benefit? And yet we know that, and yet we do not do it. If we do something bad, suppose do not people know that drinking, debauching and harming others, it is bad for oneself? Do not people know? Telling a lie, do not people know it is bad? Stealing other things for other people's properties, does not one know that it is bad thing? Does it stop people from doing it? That is why Duryodhana, his thighs were broken. Somebody went and asked that why is you are intelligent, you know so many wonderful things, so why you are still continuing? His reply, you know what was his reply? Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi. I know what is dharma means, what is the correct type of behavior, but I have no desire to follow it. Janami adharmam nachame nivritti. I know what is adharma, but I have absolutely no desire to. I can't resist. I can't desist. I can stand anything excepting temptation. I can resist anything excepting temptation. What else is there to resist? So this is our condition. So do you follow what is the point I am making? Knowledge and belief are two separate things. So the second point earlier I made. What was the point? Our actions betray our real belief. It is not what we say through our mouth, it is not what advice we give to others, but it is what we actually do in our day-to-day life. So a person is what his belief is, good or bad. Usually it's a mixture of good and bad. No person is so bad that he will have only bad beliefs. No person is so good, he will have only all good beliefs. It is a mixture of good and bad. So, do you see what is the important point? Each one of us are a bundle of beliefs. And these beliefs express in the form of habits. And these habits express in the form of our day-to-day activities, actions. This is a very important point. Now, this belief is divided into three categories. So, when we say Shraddha, don't take the highest meaning. You follow what I am talking about? According to scripture, the word Shraddha means the highest type of faith. A person who believes in God, a person who believes in the afterworld, a person who believes in afterlife, and he does everything according to what the scripture tells. That is the real meaning of Shraddha. But here what we are talking is, each one of us is only an embodiment of his or her belief or beliefs, different types of beliefs. And each one of us is a bundle of habits. Habits means in Sanskrit it is called samskaras. And so we react according to our habit. Yeah, even before, some people, even before the information has gone in, blurts out. Suddenly, that is why many times we blurt out, we react. Afterwards we think, and then we say, why did I react that way? I should have reacted in a different way. So, spiritual life is a training, but to react in the right way.
So what about the complete non-believers? They are also having a...
There is no non-believers. There is no non-believer at all. He may not believe in a particular thing. Say a worldly person. What you mean by non-believer? You mean to say that person doesn't believe in God, but he believes in some things. This world is a curious mixture. There are people who profess that they believe in God, but their behavior shows otherwise. I will give some examples also. There are people who say, I do not believe in God, but their behavior is impeccable. Dharmika people. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, for example, he said, I don't believe in God. He used to believe, later on he lost, but his behavior says nobody has seen such a truthful person, nobody has seen such a generous person. That is why God himself visited him and told him, his gold is lying hidden in 1 inch. Just if he digs a little, he will reach. What is that gold? What is that gold Thakur was referring to? God. God is so near Vidyasagar because he was a very truthful person. That's why Swamiji had so much admiration. Even though he didn't go to any temple, he didn't visit Ramakrishna Ashrama, and he did not do pilgrimages. He had such highest devotion to his mother, and he is so truthful, he is so charitable, he is so unselfish. And yet he said, I lost my faith in God. There are so millions of people and who claim that they believe in God. Their behavior is, if not outright, what is called wickedness, cruelty, like terrorists. Does any terrorist say, I don't believe in God? And yet their behavior is to destroy whatever they could. That is an extreme behavior. But there are also so many so-called devotees of God. It is these fellows who do a lot of mischief, hypocritical. Anyway, so what is the point we are making? Every person is an embodiment of his belief, and every person's belief expresses in the form of certain habits, and every person's life is an expression of his habits. Keep this in mind. So if a person is reacting in a particular way, why? Because of his samskara. And why he has developed such samskara? Because of his belief. Simple fact, is because of his belief. Let me give you also, because it's very important topic. Millions of people take bath in Ganga, don't they? Early morning, evening, any time. And yet, how many people's life is a better life? After taking bath, what do? Ramakrishna say, is what they do, all their ungodly behavior, they hang on the outside branches. And then they genuinely believe it. And then they go to Ganga. That belief is absolutely true belief. But the moment they come out of Ganga, all these sins, what is the meaning of sin here?
Going back to the same behavior.
Samskaras. All these worldly samskaras are jumping on him. He will put tilaka, he will go to God, he will offer a flower. After that his whole life is as he has been doing mechanically, cheating other people, telling lies, doing this, doing that. Now we reap reward according to our actions. The point is, whether you believe in God or not, that's a different issue. Believe in the law of karma. If you believe in the law of karma Then, if you are happy, who is responsible? Yourself. If you are suffering, who is responsible? So it is said, we are the result of what we did in the past. Therefore, we will be what we would like to be if only when we do the right actions. Otherwise, if I want happiness but I behave in a wrong way, my desire is not going to be fulfilled. So this faith is of three types. So how do we know? This analysis we are coming. So 2 points I made. What is the point? That knowledge and belief are not the same things. Knowledge is different, belief is different. Each one of us are a bundle of beliefs. Beliefs dictate our habits. Beliefs dictates our habits. So this example, let me put it this way. The person goes to Ganga. He believes in it. So every day he goes. It becomes in course of time a habit. So he simply, even if it is cold, even if it is raining, he will still continue to go to Ganga because his habit. But
চান করার একটাই জায়গা গঙ্গা, তার অন্য কোনো চান করার জায়গা নেই, সেই জন্য গঙ্গায় যাচ্ছে।
that is, I am not talking, you see, there are people who want to take bath with water, not mud bath, you know, rhinoceros, they have mud bath. So unfortunately human beings cannot have a mud bath. That is available only for privileged rich people in Jindal's naturopathy hospital if they want to get rid of some disease, mud bath. So I am not talking about that kind of bath. There are people who have facilities for bathing, but they believe in Ganga, so they go there. But he has also other belief. What is the belief? I don't believe in God. That is a belief. I believe in Ganga. I believe going in a temple, but I don't believe God when I am working, when I am running the business. I only believe in money laundering and black market business. So there are different beliefs, and he never has any conflict between that belief and this belief. That is why after some time you see this man continues to go there, he continues to tell a lie, he continues to cheat people. Absolutely he has no conflict at all in his life. This is what we see. Some people, how can I believe in God? How can I do all those things? Like Nagamasha's father. How can I steal somebody else's property even though nobody is there? You remember? Some gold coins he got.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
See, so that is some people. Some people like Sri Krishna is what if I profess belief in God, then my whole life must be changed. Nachiketa and Swami Dayatmananda and Sri Krishna and anybody, any devotee. So different types are there. So what is the first point? Knowledge and belief separate. Second point, we are all a bundle of beliefs. Our beliefs prompt our habits, and our habits are what we are. How we eat, how we react. So let me give you also another example. I am from South India. From childhood, from birth, I am accustomed to eat certain types of foods. So that is my habit. So now it has become so habit that if you present me varieties of food, which type of food I will prefer? South Indian food. So you see, that is because I am a bundle of that belief. So my belief forces my habits, and my habits reinforces my belief. So it is like a vicious circle. It goes on and on. This is the second point. Now, belief, a man is nothing but what he believes. That is why you don't ask a person, do you believe in God? That is a wrong type of question to put to find out about a person. Because even if he gives answer, it is a mechanical answer. It will never be a truthful answer. But if you want to know what a man is, what should you do? Study his habits. Study what he eats. Study what he studies. Study what type of friends he has. Study how he spends his time. Study how he reacts to situations. Then you will come to know what the person's real belief is. So, if this point is clear, then we go further. Now, you see, in the 4th verse, he says, there are 3 types of gods we choose according to our nature. The Lord is going from now onwards to explain to us that if I want to know who am I, I'm not talking about final who am I, spiritual who am I. I'm talking now psychological who am I. So it depends upon each person. You observe what type of gods he worship, what type of worship he does, what type of motives he has for worship, and what type of food he eats, what type of dana he does. Through this we will know whether he belongs to Sattvika person, Rajasika person, or Tamasika person. But one important point is there is no cut and dried guna. This person is pure Sattvika, this person is pure Rajasika, and this person is pure Tamasika. No. All the gunas have their rightful places in us. One example would be when I am doing worship, meditation, scriptural study, I must be a Sattvika person. When I am eating food, I must be a Sattvika person. When I am discharging some duties, I must be a good Rajasika person. And when I am trying to sleep, I must be a good Tamasika person. Not the other way. When I am listening to a talk, I will be a Tamasika person. When I am doing the meditation, I will be a Tamasika person now. Every guna, what is the point? Every guna is absolutely the best in its own sphere. If it overlaps, overflows into the other gunas territory, then there is going to be a conflict. International, interguna conflict wars will be there. Be careful about it. So he is telling, Yajante Sattvika Devan Yaksha Rakshamsi Rajasaha Pretan Bhuta Ganams Chanye Yajante Tamasa Janaha. The Sattvika people worship the gods. The Rajasika worship the Yakshas and Rakshasas, while others, the Tamasika people, worship spirits and goblins. Very easy to understand. A person worships, one person worships gods. Gods means there is only one God. How many gods are there? Only one God. But according to Hinduism, this one God can be divided into 3 categories mainly, that is Vishnu, Shiva and Shakti. Vishnu, Shiva and Shakti. And of course we have what is called Vinayaka. We have also got Kartikeya, got Surya and Chandra, Varuna, Kubera, etc. etc. Anyway, so real God is only one. A person who worships God, he is a Sattvika person. Because only a Sattvika person can understand that it is no use worshipping anybody else excepting a real God. Now there are also people who want some powers. So usually they worship like Bhairava, Bhairava Upasana and Chandika Upasana. You understand Chandika Upasana? Do you remember the example? When Chandramani Devi felt that her son was going mad, she brought him to Kamarpukur and she called. Whom did she call? The worshippers of Chanda. Doesn't ring any bells. Yeah. Then He is looking blank. It is there in the life of Thakur. You must remember Thakur's life. Otherwise, what meditation are you doing? At least Thakur's life. I am not saying that you should remember every great saint's lives. At least Thakur's, mother's and Swamiji's main incidents you have to remember. Otherwise, you are not worthy to be called devotee of Thakur. So you remember, his mother brought. Then she wanted to know whether he has gone mad. Then she brought his worshippers of Chanda, and they came, and they were worshippers. And the Chanda came, and then what was the reply he gave?
Divine man.
He said he is not suffering from any madness. He is not mad. It is a divine state. He is only appears to be abnormal because of his absorption in God. Then they advised also, oh Gadai, why are you eating betel nut so much? Don't you know betel nut increases lust of a person? So he reduced. He used to take 20 betel nuts every day. After advice, he started taking only 90. You see, that is Yakshasa, Yaksha, Rakshasa. These are people who want that particular power. They want to worship that particular. After all, you know, we all do that. If you are a student who wants to become a good cricketer, what is his room filled up with? All cricketers. A girl who wants to start a band, then what does she do? She will pin up. You know, there's whom we admire, whom it is we fill up our rooms with them. It is a kind of worship. Yeah, if that fellow, that cricketer suddenly comes and says, girl, you admire me, so do you want to marry me? She will jump up for joy. And if the other girlfriend with whom she is staying jumps up and says, I want to marry you, she will break first that other girl's head and then get married, try to get married. See, this is called real worship, admiration. Why do we admire? Our desires dictate whom we admire or worship. See, somebody wants money. Whom does he worship? Somebody wants knowledge. Somebody wants success. That is how. So, Sattvika persons worship God because Sattva produces knowledge, and knowledge says, if I go to God, then all my problems will be solved. A person with worldly ambitions, he worships the same God, but with different names and forms, so that he can get that particular powers. That is how all these tantras are full of these black magic and other things. This is Rajasika people who want. And there are some people, Tamasika people, they worship the Kapalikas. Have you heard the word Kapalikas? They drink people's blood, and they drank even one of our sadhu's blood also. So, yeah, there was one therein Maharaj. He was doing tapasya in Rishikesh. So he was called Pet Kata Therein Maharaj. That's he whose stomach has been operated. So he was living. He was also a little bit scholar. So some brahmacharis and sannyasins used to come in the afternoon to study scriptures with him. He was in a lonely hut. One morning it appeared, a Punjabi couple came there, and they said they brought some honey and said, Swamiji, you drink this honey, we specially brought it for you. He said, this is not the time, I'm happy you brought it, but I will drink later on. They said, no, you drink right now. But he was not willing. Then the man brought out a handkerchief and pressed it against the Swami's nose, and he fell unconscious. Then they took away a lot of blood, 2-3 bottles of blood. And then when these students came in the afternoon, they found him lying unconscious, almost on deathbed. Then immediately they took him to the hospital, they took him to Dehradun, and he was revived. A lot of blood was given. Later on he explained that this is what happened. This is Kapalika. They wanted Swami Vivekananda's blood in Rajasthan. They wanted Akhandananda's blood also somewhere. They wanted Swami Abhedananda's blood. He ran. These are all incidents. He was with the Nath Sampradaya yogis on a Bihar hill, and he outran them, fortunately. Otherwise they wanted to do some tantric black magic like that. That is why these are all beliefs there. In India they sacrifice small children, Narabali and all that, in a new tank, new bridge, new building and all those things. So these are all, their belief is there. And in Shankaracharya's life also there is such incident. When Kapalika wanted to kill him, Shankaracharya, but of course he couldn't kill him. Then you see, he became disciple, pretended to be a disciple of Shankaracharya. Served him so well, Shankara was pleased, said, ask anything you want, I will give you. He said, I want to cut off your head. You consent. Because I worship as this Bhairava, I will get some special powers. In Chandamama, have you not read all this? Maya Fakir, he wants to kill all these princes, especially women, tender women, are very good. And nowadays there are also these werewolves, stories of werewolves, London's werewolf like that. Yeah, blood sucking like that.
Dracula.
So Shankara said, yes, I gave you word, I will give you my life. It is nothing for him, because he knew he was not the body. But don't tell anybody, prepare for puja, I will come at midnight and you prepare everything, as soon as I come, cut off my head. He was so compassionate, can you imagine? So he went at midnight, as everything was ready. But Shankaracharya had a disciple, I forget his name. He was a worshipper of Ugra Narasimha, Upasaka. So this Ugra Narasimha possessed him, that what you call possession. So then he, about 10 miles, in 10 seconds he covered like a lion, jumping. And when the Kapalika was about to cut off his head, immediately he took up, this disciple took up and cut off the head of the Kapalika himself. This was an incident mentioned in the Shankaracharya's life. So what is the point I am talking about here? There are 3 types of people, Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasic. Sattvic people worship whom? Only God in a Sattvic way for a Sattvic motive. Rajasika people worship the same God in different powers, in the name of different powers, but for the sake of acquiring some powers. Example will be Ravanasura, Hiranyakashipu. Did they not do tapasya? What did they do? Whom were they worshipping? Only God. But what type of God are they worshipping? See, there are so many worshippers of Kali, Mother Kali. Do you think all of them are worship? Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Mother Kali. As what? As God. Because he was a Sattvika person. He only wanted knowledge, devotion and discrimination and vairagya. Whereas his cousin brother, Haldari, he also worshipped Mother Kali. And what was his opinion about Mother Kali? That she is an embodiment of tamas. So as a result, she became tamasic and said, you did not worship me properly, I am going to kill your son as a punishment. Read Thakur's life. So same God, but 2 different opinions about it. So what I am trying, people worship the same thing, but in what way they worship. So it's also, I will give an example also, how we look upon each other. We say some people, these are my enemies. Because I don't like them. And they also don't like us. The same people are, you ask some other people, these are my closest friends. Is it not?
Yes.
So it is the same person. One person looks upon them as enemy, another person looks upon the same people as friend. So like there are terrible admirers of Bin Laden, and there are also terrible admirers of President Bush. Yeah. If you ask the followers of Bin Laden, what is your opinion about President Bush? They say, as President Bush looks upon Bin Laden, so they look upon that President Bush also as in the same light. Terrible enemy. America is the greatest enemy for many terrorists. Whereas America looks upon these terrorists as the greatest enemies of humanity. What is the point I am talking? That God is the alright, but how we look upon God determines what type of desire, swabhava we have. If I am a Tamasic person, I can look upon God only as a Tamasic person. If I am a Rajasic person, I will look upon God as full of powers, full of activity, full of enjoyment, etc. If I am a Sattvic person, my opinion of God also will change and my desire also will change. All these are facts of life, is it not?
Yes.
So that's what he is telling, that the Sattvika people worship the gods for devotion, faith, liberation, etc. The Rajasika people worship Yakshas and Rakshasas. By the way, Yakshas and Rakshasas, are they realities or are they imaginations? Are there beings, Yaksha and Rakshasa?
Qualities.
Yes,
Qualities.
they are there.
Yes.
Because Chandramani Devi saw lots of gods and goddesses. Not only that, there are this Thakur saw Bhairava in the Panchavati. And Totapuri also saw. You know that incident?
Yeah.
So one day at midnight, Totapuri was doing meditation. Suddenly this Bhairava descended from the tree branch, a tall white person. Totapuri looked up and said, "Who the hell are you?" He was not frightened at all. Brahmagnani, He said, "I am Bhairava." Very good. तुम भी मिलिट्री है, हम भी मिलिट्री, बैठो ध्यान करो. The moment he said ध्यान करो, then immediately Bhairava disappeared.
What is Bhairava Maharaj?
Bhairava is an attendant of
Shiva.
Divine Mother, Shiva. Shiva Mother, Divine Mother. That is why when so many hidden things are there. Lord Maharaj's practice under Sri Ram Krishna's guidance, lot of these tantrika upasanas. So one day he was Lord Maharaj Ritikatha. One day Thakur instructed me, sent me to that, what is that, not Bilwa, where the Bilwa is there, that north west corner. He sat and the whole day he said, how many terrible visions I had, one after the other, innumerable, and my heart was quaking, I couldn't get up. Then, towards the evening, he was exhausted, and then he saw that he will die if he doesn't get up. Just then he saw Thakur standing at a distance, and he said like this, "Come." Seeing Thakur, he got courage. Then he got up. Then he slowly went. Thakur stood at a distance. Then Thakur pointed out, there was a huge dog sitting there. Then Thakur told, do you know what is this dog? Divine Mother has kept it here so that nobody will come near you and disturb you. Do we know how many things are there in this world of which we have no knowledge at all? Bhuta, Preta. People don't believe. Or Trigunatitanandaji, he didn't believe in bhutas. But you know that story. One day he was in a haunted house. People told, don't live there. Many people died. But he said, I don't believe in his bhutas and pretas. Then he said, towards midnight, and one-eyed skull with a terrific noise. What is called brain-piercing noise. You know, certain type of noise. Bunshy noise like that. So glowing eye. It went round and coming near. seeing that his heart became, so frightened, he could not Thakur, what is Sankatakale? Venkataramana. What to do? Thakur. Then suddenly Thakur appeared outside the house and asked him to come in. And he came in. He went out. And Thakur scolded him, "You foolish fellow, there are so many of such realities are there. What does it, why do you behave like this foolish way?" Like this, so many incidents, we don't highlight them.
গোপালের মার বাড়িতে দুটো
Yeah, but they are Gobechara. They have not harmed anybody. Even Gopala's mother also they could not do any harm. But these are ferocious things. They would have killed. Yoganandaji was traveling with Holy Mother. At night that goddess appeared, you remember? So many things are there. We foolish people think, all these are cock and bull stories. So many realities are there. So anyway, what is the point is, there are people who worship these great, what is called manifestations of power for the sake of power. And there are people, evil people, they want to harm others. All your black magic, whom do they worship? Bhutas, Pretas, Pishachas, and they send you, go and kill that fellow, go and torture that fellow, go and drive away that fellow, like that. Marana, Uchatana, Vidvamsana, these are all krityas are there. Marana means to kill. Uchatana means to remove, displace a person, get out of this place, I don't want. One fakir cursed Swami Vivekananda when he was in Kashmir. And Swamiji had to come with a bleeding mouth and he complained to Holy Mother. Anyway, what is the point? If you see a person worshipping God in a Sattvic manner, and you can understand he is a Sattvic person. If a person is trying to worship like Hiranyakashipu, Ravanasura, they also did tapasya. But what purpose? It is only for getting more powers to destroy this world in a more horrible way. And like that, there are also people, these black magic people like that. So many people nowadays also they do it. Is it some people, devotees ask, is it true? Is black magic true? Is it effective? What would be your answer?
Yes.
It is absolutely true. It can happen. But the only thing is, such people who really claim to have that power, most of them are fake. There are people who have got that control, who can do harm also. There is no doubt about it. In fact, one Govinda Shetty was there, who was controlling some of these lower powers, and he was able to predict. He predicted Swami Vivekananda's future also. So, do not ever say something doesn't exist, we just don't know. Many things are there in this world. And so wicked people are also there in this world. So what is black magic? It will give you suffering. Was Hitler a Bhuta, Preta, Pishacha or God? He was worse than a Pishacha for giving so much of torture, inhuman way of killing these Jews, so many millions and millions. If he is not a Pishacha, Preta, then who else is? Like this. So, that is one. Then number 5, we come there. Ashastra vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapojanaha dambhahankara sanyuktaha kamaraga balanvitaha. So here we see those men who practice severe austerities, not enjoined by the scriptures, being given to ostentation and self-conceit, possessed of desire, attachment and pertinacity, and senseless, torture the elements in the body, as also me residing within it, know them to be of demonic resolves. Now, in a general way, he will tell us what is a real Sattvika tapas and Rajasika tapas and Tamasika tapas later on. But here what he is telling, there are some people, they do tapasya. What is tapasya? They deny themselves. They don't eat, drink water, they don't drink food, or they eat terrible things like some sadhus. They eat only neem leaves. Some people eat only dust, etc. And this days and days together they don't eat. So they lie down on a bed of nails, or they hang themselves, catching hold of a branch. They take a vow, I will not sit for 12 years. I will not talk for 12 years. I will not do this, I will not do that. That goes by the name of tapasya. So the Lord is telling, tapasya should be such that you don't overeat, you also don't undereat. The purpose of tapasya is to go forward in life. It is not for the sake of torturing. Why? Because I'll give you also an illustration. Why do we say the word torturing? Why do we say the word torturing? Suppose you have a chair, or you have a car, or you have a house. You do what you like, it is your house. Suppose you rented a car, rented a house, rented a chair, then will you destroy a rented object? You have what is the condition? You can use it, but you have to return it exactly in the same way. Now our problem is, that some people's problem is that they think the body is theirs. The body is theirs. They can do what they like. This is my body. I can do what I like. I can torture it. I can do anything. Some mad fellows, they torture themselves. There are other mad fellows who torture everybody else. But there are some madcaps, they torture only themselves. We have no right to torture our body, because the body doesn't belong to us. The example is Totapuri is, this body is giving me troubles. What did he try to do? Suicide means what? This is my body, I can do anything I like with it. No, nothing in this world belongs to any one of us. Everything belongs to God only. That is why Divine Mother taught him a good lesson. There was not enough water, fortunately. Yeah, just imagine how many tortoises and fishes would have died becoming obese if he died in that water. Don't understand? Get the joke? They would have eaten such a bulky body, only fat. And after eating him, what would be their condition? They would be developing extra cholesterol and all those problems. They would be unnecessarily, he would be the, cause of that. So Divine Mother opened his eyes and said, nothing belongs to you, neither your body nor your mind. Both are lent to you for a particular purpose. You use them, achieve your purpose, and then return them safely back to me. That is what Isa was saying at the end. Oh Lord, I have used this body for Satya and Dharma. Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. Now I cannot use them any longer. Please take back the elements which you gave to me. What a beautiful prayer. So that should be our attitude. This body doesn't belong. Tanu mana dhana tera hai, mera nahi hai. What is Maya? Maya is mera tera, tera mera. What is mera tera? Means mera to mera hai. Tera bhi mera hai. No, this is all, it is a gift from God. So we should use it in the proper way for the purpose He lent us. And thereby we will also become blessed, and the Lord also will become very pleased with us, and He will give us. That is the most wonderful thing we have to understand by this. So ashastra vihitam, this type of tapasya some people do, it is ashastra vihitam, not shastra vihita. It is not approved by the scriptures. Remember one incident. two ladies came to see Thakur at Dakshineshwar. And that they were fasting. What did Thakur ask them? You first eat. Why did he ask? After all, they wanted to do worship. Why did he ask them to eat? Because they might have been feeling very weak because of not eating. And he said, with this kind of your whole mind is, when we are going to get food. And what is the point of your fasting if you are only thinking about food? That is of absolutely no use at all. So this is the most wonderful thing. Any tapasya we do must be Shastra Vihita. It must be approved by the scriptures, directed by the scriptures. But these people do not do that. Ghoram. Ghoram means terrible. Then tapyante ye tapojana. So dambha ahankara yukta. You see, what is the purpose of tapasya? To tell to the Lord, please remove my ahankara. But these fellows are, oh, did you notice how much japam I did? Did you notice how much time I did worship? Did I notice how many devotees are bowing down to me? And all these things. Dambha ahankara sanyukta. Then kama raga balanvita. Bala means tremendous strength. What type of strength is? Kama. Kama means full of desires. Then raga. Raga means attachment. So this kind of people, nothing is lost. Their ahankara is there, dambha is there, desire is there, and attachment is there, and yet outside they are pretending to do over tapasya. This kind of people, what do? Not only they torture themselves, they also torture me who is within each creature, within them. I am within them also. They are also torturing me. That means if a person tortures himself, he will not be happy person. If you are not happy, you are torturing God. It's a very important point. What is the point? If you are worshipping God, if you are meditating upon God, you should be happy. If you are not happy, what is the name of God? Happiness. Ananda. Satchidananda. So if you are not happy, that means you are away from God. If you are away from God, what is the point of that kind of worship? So it is to caution us against. So it says, Karshayanta sharirastam bhutagramam achetasaha mam chaiva anta sharirastam tan vidhi asura nischay. Such type of people are deserve to be called asuras. Asura means rakshasas. Most of the Ravanasura, Hiranyakashipu, they do this kind of tapasya. How do we know? Because they got the results. After coming back, has their ahankara become less or more? Has their desires become... Before having tapasya, Ravanasura was having only one wife. After doing tapasya, how many wives? Any woman that is passing by, he is to take her and imprison her and be put there. That is how ultimately his desire grew so worse. Finally, he only captured Sita herself, not knowing that Kalakuta Visha, because it is Paramatma's Maya, it is going to destroy you. In a symbolic way, what it means is, if we do something wrong, then that wrong karma itself will bring in wrong result. So, the Lord is condemning people who are necessarily without what is called common sense. They do a lot of things. Upavasa also. A diabetic fellow, if he does upavasa, then he will give a lot of trouble. So many old people and sick people give us a lot of trouble. They don't have common sense. That if they follow the instructions of the doctor, instructions of the family members, then they will be more cooperative and less strenuous on other people. But instead of that, I won't eat this, I won't eat that. Oh my God. Anyway, what is the point we are talking about? That we have to be commonsensical in whatever we do. So sometimes, oh Swami, I have not taken bath, can I do japam? He says, yes, you can do it. So, but I don't feel like it's even better. So can I, what shall I do? What shall I do? The husband and wife were married for 25 years. Then the husband came running. Darling, darling, today is our marriage day. How shall we celebrate? He said, let us observe 15 minutes of silence. That is the best way of celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. Yeah, you know.
That's very good.
Anyway, I hope the other person didn't hear it, what you said. The point is, if we want to be happy, let us use common sense in everything, in food, in sleeping, in watching something, in talking, in everything, let us use common sense. So, next is what type of food, 3 types of food, and what type of food will give us happiness. Then yajna, 3 types of yajna. Then 3 types of way doing yajna. Then 3 types of dana, 3 types of doing dana. All this beautiful analysis of human life. What is the goal? The goal is by understanding these things, if we can examine our life through the lens of these guidelines. It is like, you know, if a person is diabetic, there is a self-test, blood test. Yeah. Then you monitor your own sugar levels. Then you know what you are doing, what you are not doing, what you should do. These are guidelines for our happy journey, whether we are spiritual or what we claim to be worldly people. One point, important point is do worldly people, don't they want happiness?
Yes.
And do they want less happiness than spiritual people? The amount of happiness anybody wants is exactly the same. But only they do not know what is the way to obtain more happiness. Spiritual people are supposed to know that they are going to attain more amount of happiness, not because the happiness is different, but instruments with which we have to enjoy is different. Yeah. Like you know, supposing 2 persons want to eat delicious food. Both of them want to eat. Imagine that one person is spiritual person, another person is worldly person. They want to enjoy the same type of food. Imagine that the spiritual person has a very nice big spoon. So he can take it and everybody has to use a spoon. Otherwise they can't scoop the food. Imagine the worldly person has got like a straw. And he can only scoop that much. Nobody is preventing him from eating the food, but the instrument he carries is very small. Therefore, his torture is all the more. He wants to eat, food is there, but the instrument he brings is very small. So this is the difference between worldly person and a spiritual person. Yeah. Whatever it is. What is the summary of what we discussed today? The first point is the difference between knowledge and belief. The second point is we act only according not to our knowledge but according to our belief. And each one of us is nothing but an embodiment of our beliefs. And our beliefs express themselves in the form of our actions. So if we want to know what is the belief of any person, don't ask that person, only observe the actions, we will know. And then the Lord enumerates how we can evaluate our what type of persons we are. Are we Sattwika persons? Are we Rajasic persons? Are we Tamasic persons? Again, the point I mentioned is, it is not a cut and dried division. You cannot say 100% a person is Sattvika or Rajasic or Tamasic. All of us are mixtures. But what is the proportion of the mixture? So if it should not be even 50-50. Understand 50-50? Like a horse and a rabbit. It should not be that kind of. 50-50 means 50 pearls, 1 kg of horse meat, 1 kg and rabbit's meat. That is fine. 1 horse and 1 rabbit 50-50. That kind of proportion is not good at all. So if we understand by certain types of actions what type of gunas we are consisting of, it helps us to reduce the lower quality and increase our. And life is meant, what is the point we made? Life is a journey to God. So our progress is measured in the form of measurement of gunas, from a lower guna to a higher guna, from tamas to rajas to sattva. So in the next few verses in this particular chapter, how to test, self-test whether our blood is so we will continue. Our next class will be May 12th. Is all right, Kila? 12th of May. June, we will see 2nd is June 2nd is all right.
Yeah.
Then July 8th July, and we also have Swami Dayatmananda, July 8th. Then we will fix the further dates. So have you noted? 12th, May 12th, June 2nd, July 8th. So this much you note down. Fix the other ones later on.